everyone. How's it going? Alright. So, we are painting today. We're gonna paint. Japan. So I've got my paints ready. Let me just kind of get myself all set up right. Here we go. Here we go. So we are going to do some painting. Gotta get everything all set up. Alright, so I'm trying out some new stuff today. Let's see what we can do. Alright, so this we're gonna be painting Japan. Let's see. Now here's our ref. Okay, so we been doing some digital plein air painting. We're gonna be painting this beautiful island in Japan called Yakushima Island. It is like very south of Japan, and it is so beautiful. I'm gonna do like a bunch of stuff from here, so I'm super excited. Gosh, I wish I could just like paint the whole thing, but this is where I'm gonna start right here. We've got this like little lonely tree up there. So let's have a look. We've got. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Feel free to ask. But for now, I'm gonna do a bunch of just like getting the. I'm gonna get the page all wet first. I always do this. It just gives me a time period that I can paint really soft, really wet. And during that time period, that's when I can just do all my big shapes and all my mixing. Big shapes, big mixing. But paint both the sides, because a lot of people just paint the first side. Yeah, new cameras. Look, oh, you're gonna be so proud of me. I got new internet, so that it can go all fast, fancy like. And then I've got a whole bunch of different setups, so that got a little close-ups. Ooh, even closer. There we go. Yeah, I'm excited, because I wanted to start streaming before. But clearly my internet wasn't good enough. What's it like now? Is it stuttering like it was last time? Ugh. Good. I'm glad it's so much better. And I got a new light. And I think that actually makes a world of a difference. I was hoping to make it like a little bit of a difference, but it is so much better. Alright, so I'm going to let that sink in for a while. That's going to take a minute, so let's have a look at a reference while we're at it. So I'm actually going to, like, last time I think I was trying to describe it, but I wasn't entirely sure if I did a good job, but we're going to be doing like a whole series of paintings from Japan. I'm going to start in the south, in this place, Yakushima Island, and slowly work my way up. I don't know how long it's going to take, because there's so many beautiful places. But, yeah. Alright, so let's try to figure out how this should go. This is the clouds at the top, mountains in the background that are sort of coming forward. I think think I'll end up pushing those mountains back a bit, so that this tree can stand out. So let's have a look. So we'll start that. Means I'm probably going to be using a whole bunch of white. So let's see if there's one that has a reference as well. Yeah. Let me get my camera so that it stops trying to focus itself, because it's doing a terrible job. So, where is it? This one. There we go. Stop focusing yourself. Hey, there we go. So hopefully it will have actually sorry, just reconfiguring things. I gotta get it. Oh, my new setup. Okay, back again. So, now this is dried a little bit, because I don't want it too wet to begin with. I just want that water. Actually, if I can get the water underneath, I mean, this is weird, watering the board. No, but if I get the water underneath the painting, then it can seep through and not affect the top of it too much. But still provide water while I'm at it. Alright. There we go. So. I've got this. It's clouds. So there's a certain degree of like going back to front. Trying to push that background first. And I'll let the top of the clouds get a bit darker, so that it feels like it's kind of, the top of the clouds are closer in. And there we go. So what have you been up to, Eileen? Let's have a look while we're at this. I kind of want to be moving pretty quick at this stage. Let's get a bit more color into that. Pretty quick. And so the main idea is we're just going to be like really just working on the foundations of the values of everything. This next lot I want to pull in a bit more of the green into this mountain. Painting and whatnot. Oh good, you finally got some? Ooh. Yeah, it'll take a little while to get used to. That's exciting though. What have you been painting with so far? What have been like your main tools? Let's get some of this mountain in. I started off painting in oil, and then doing a bunch of digital. Yeah, the hard part about this medium, especially coming from oils like you and I did, is that there's, when it dries, that drying time, not drying time so much, the drying values. Yes, the vibrancy and opacity are to die for. They can, they're not gonna like come in inherently opaque. So clearly they are. Clearly they're very opaque. But if you're like only expecting opacity, then you might be a little bit shocked, because some of them, just like every paint, some of them aren't gonna be super opaque. Like right now, I'm basically using them like watercolors. And like everything else, like normally it's the yellows that come in a little less than opaque. Alright, so now that some of that's dried up there, oh, I thought it had dried more than that. I'm going to see if I can get maybe a little more texture into the cloud. What kind of what brand did you get? Yeah, absolutely. As did the consistency. That's interesting. But yeah, what brand did you get? Because I started off just with Nika, and the consistency or the opacity was a little more constant. Yeah, okay, so that's what you got. The opacity with that was relatively constant. I then got some Shinhan to try something else, and they were a little less consistent. But they also kind of they had a consistency rating on them, so I shouldn't have been surprised. I think Nika publishes a consistency or a transparency rating as well, so they don't even all expect it to be transparent. But man, they're so good. So I'll normally use them relatively transparently to begin with, and then I'll come in and push in some more opaques. In fact, I'm going to do that right down here. For fun. Let's do it. See me as we've got the... Here, let's get back to the... There we go. We've got the... This stuff's going to end up being pretty opaque. And then this mountain, as it comes down, I've pushed it back for now, so that this tree pokes out a lot more clearly. But as it comes in, I want it to be a little more opaque, so it feels like it's traveling forward. Let's get this. My computer is growling at me. Alright, and then I think I'm only going to put like a little bit of this foreground in because it's not particularly interesting. I don't think it adds too much to the painting as a whole. So this I'll do really transparently. I found with poster colors and gouache as well that when I am if I try to get really light values, it will I'll always be fighting that like push towards the midtones and those darkenings. But if I use it transparently to begin with, then I can get the white from the paper to carry a lot of those values. And that's really useful. What was that? So we're very separate and took a bit of shaking. Yeah. I was playing with Holbein gouache. They're lovely, but when it's separated in its tube, it's a bit more annoying because you can't really fix it. Yeah. Yeah, and my favorite thing is this stuff, it comes back, like, it reactivates as if it was never not active, which is, you know, gouache. I think maybe that's one of the biggest things that comes in as different from gouache. You know, gouache will kind of get chalky and stuff, but this stuff is so good. What am I doing? I am painting, I'm painting Japan. So, let's have a look. I'm using Google Earth. And I'm essentially doing these travels from Japan, south to north. And we're going to be painting a bunch of stuff. So this is the first, is Yakushima Island. And I am doing some digital plein air. Where are you from, Zelrig? What a name. What a wonderful name. Yeah, exactly. Especially right now, I'm using a lot of water with it, so it's doing a lot of its own stuff, which is really fun. Oh, from Germany, that's cool. I have a bunch of friends in Germany. Okay, I'm gonna start to use this stuff more opaquely, but while it's still wet. So it'll do like a lot of its own fun stuff. Hey, the more work it does, the less work I have to do. It's kind of how I see it. I live in the middle of South Carolina in the States. But originally I'm from Australia. Yeah, I met a woman in the States. My wife. Alright, so I'm gonna push some. Yeah, it's cute. Okay, get to here so you can see that reference again. Oh no, you're good. That's how it is, right? Get some of this dry grass in there. Coming in behind. No, it was fun. I've enjoyed being here in the States. Alright, when it dries it when the whole thing dries a bit more, I'll get this tree in the middle coming out. Well, down here. And that'll be fun. But right now, let's see if we get some of these highlights in here. Yeah, I wish I could do some more real traveling. That would be amazing. And we'll get there. We'll get there. Just don't have the budget for it yet. Carolina's out pretty. I have like a There's a waterfall like 10 minutes from the house, and a lake, and some mountains pretty close by. In the middle of the spring, it's really nice to just to go out there. So I'm trying to think about all the things I want to do in this. And there's a bunch of them that I can't just do yet because it's a little too wet. So at the moment, we're making a lot of, what do you call it? Just general value decisions. I want to push underneath these shrubs to make it feel like we're actually have those shadows underneath. Have you guys traveled anywhere interesting? I always get the impression that if you're from Germany, you kind of get to travel around a lot of Europe. But that being said, I'm from Australia, and I didn't see much of Australia. So I could be so wrong about that. What about you, Elaine? Is there anywhere that you want to see or have seen? Oh, you know what? There's more of a tree that's coming up here. Okay, that's good. It's really nice because it can cast a shadow down here. And I'm leaving in a bunch of stuff and leaving out a bunch of stuff. Accuracy is not really my biggest concern. Oh, wouldn't it be so nice? Scotland, Ireland, Norway, New Zealand. Everyone is always shocked that I haven't been to New Zealand just because I live in Australia, but it's actually a fair decent distance away. But yeah, on my list of traveling painting trips, Scotland is definitely up there, and Wales. I'm doing some work for a company games company in Wales, doing some backgrounds for them, and man, I really wish I could go visit them. It's getting old. No, John Singer Sargent stuff is never old. It's marvelous. Marvelous. Why do you? I love his I mean, you know, everything he does was amazing, but his watercolors definitely been a huge inspiration for me. In fact, I'm doing a series of a tutorial series on how to paint water, and I'm definitely using his stuff as a guide.
We're headed to the Bradfords.
Alright.
The ham is in the oven.
Okay.
It's cooking.
It's cooking. I'll make sure it doesn't burn.
I mean, it's supposed to cook for an hour and a half, so it should be fine.
Okay.
Just so you know.
Perfect. Thank you. Yeah, so Sargent and Zorn is the other one who's I just love his water. And his watercolors in general. Alright, let's come in. I should add a reference. Here, can you close the door, please, Jordan? Thank you. Yeah, Zorn's watercolors are also amazing. Have you seen them? They like don't feel like they're watercolors at all. I'm gonna put some of this shadow underneath this stuff. Okay, let's see if I can get some. I think it might be too early. Get some more like texture in there. Yeah, so amazing. Do you guys have favorite artists, or is that down? I think I can come in and start with this tree now. So let's have a look at that tree. Boom. This one here. I want to make it like, I'm gonna give it a curve. Just I think that'll push the lines a bit more. You have to think very hard about your favorite artists. I get that. Oh, is that in focus? Let's see. Yeah, it's just blurry here. It is hard to pick a. Well, don't pick one favorite. Pick your general favorites. There's a lot of amazing people out there. I would definitely go. Sargent's one of them. Ooh, Maxfield Parrish. I love those colors. What do you like about him? Jeremy Lipking is one of my current favorites. Here. This is just amazing. Color palette and kind of subtlety to everything that he does. Alright. So I think I'm gonna have to truncate this tree a bit, but like we said, it's alright. Colors, yeah, it's very dreamy. I think that's one of the things I love about him too. Can you hear my daughter in the background? Yeah, so let's see up here. Yeah, this one's amazing. Cute. I'm glad you think that that crane is cute, because there's a lot of it. While this is all still wet, I'll see if I can put in some of the. Oh, I love this branch shape up here. Put in some of these values. They're relatively small and subtle, but if I can put them into the already wet paint, then they'll kind of do a bit of their own thing. I mean, essentially, if I get the paint to do most of my work for me, I will. Here, let's see if we can get a close up. There we go. I think this branch, for the most part, is covered up. Let's see, who else? Who else do I love? So Jeremy Lipking. Daniel Keyes. You guys heard of Daniel Keyes? He's a young guy. I think he's a couple years younger than I am. And he studied in and under and with Richard Schmidt. So he drew the lucky straw there. I'm not sure how much of it was luck or how much he really pursued that. But he's also got this amazing color palette. I mean, which is really simple. They have this essentially like a cobalt blue and white and a little bit of red. So everything turns this like purple as it reaches the sky. Let's see what he said. Like to watch guys like you more. Oh, thank you. Oh, Keyes is amazing, isn't he good? I think so, Rick. I was always afraid of looking too much like Kazuo Oga or some of those Japanese artists. But the honest truth is, I have so many different inspiration might be the wrong word. People who inspire me, like my base is so different from theirs that even if I were to try to do their work, I really couldn't. So I've come to terms with being okay, but definitely like the Studio Ghibli guys are this huge inspiration for me. And I ain't ashamed of it. Alright, let's get some lights into this before this dries up too much. There's got some nice oranges going on. Yeah, exactly. It's just going to end up being my own stuff. I mean, that's how everyone goes. There's no one who paints or works in a vacuum. So it's not something to worry about. Like, I spend a bit of time worrying about it, but in the end, it's not something to worry about. Yeah, it is. It's hard to pick. But I know for me, it was really hard to shake what I thought I needed to be as a working artist. Eric Kopel. I'll need to see that because I don't know Eric Kopel. So thank you. Man, there's some really... I love how like wrangled this tree is. Boom. Look how like old. I need one that's like super close, a camera shot that's super close up to that and to my stuff. I'll do that next time. I suppose this is what we got so far. Alright. Hanging in, imposter syndrome is hard to shake. It's hard to shake. Everyone has it to some degree. Or has had it, has struggled through it. Alright, now we get some foliage on it. Okay, I love these shapes. These like cones that are like going upwards like this. So that's gonna be my first order of business. Boom. Let's see, I got those in the... Yeah, there we are. They're in the picture. Alright. So... how to approach? Light first, dark first? So what I love, everything in this painting is so... it's got this blue tinge to it. So I'm gonna try and keep that for this particular. Belinsky. Oh yeah. My favorite darker artist would be what's his name? What is his name? You know, him. His name. I can't remember. I cannot remember. Oh, Peter Jablonski. Oh, you mean like actually dark? Because Rembrandt. Yeah, I started off really pushing towards some chiaroscuro stuff like that when I started oil painting. And that was... I loved it. I loved it. The thing I love about that is because all the painting starts so dark, then the highlights in the face end up being midtones. So actually, like, a lot of the people in that style of painting, and they ended up being really saturated, which as a lot of people start painting lighter, the saturation of like the general skin tone becomes less and less, which is fine. There's good stuff about that, but light against dark stuff they did is just pure art. Yeah. So as I was studying a lot of that stuff, the people who came to, although the contemporary people would be like, I'm so bad at names right about now. Yeah, chiaroscuro. I don't even know if that's how you pronounce it. I didn't ever go to art school, so I never had people able to tell me what these things are actually called. But I have this art book from this guy who did all that stuff. I forget. I'm so bad at names. Who cares? That's right. Same who cares, right? Okay, so now I'm going to get just some more general stuff in here. Let's see if we can cool it off a bit. Yeah, I've heard the same thing. There are some that I would have considered going to. I like the Art Students League, but you know, who can afford that? Not me. But honestly, these days, if you have YouTube or you find the right kind of mentors, like, who needs art school? Right. They don't teach you a thing. I'm sure they teach you some things, but they don't teach you business. And business is definitely something you need. If I could go to school, if I went to school again, I'd study business. Because the making and breaking of an artist is unfortunately not about their skill level. Unless their skill is communication. You did get a degree in fine arts. Cool. Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that. Where'd you go? Not that I, really know much about it, but I'd love to hear your take on it. Oh, hey, Maddie. Thank you. Look. So, I've got a bunch of cameras all set up. I'm so excited. And boom. Anyway, yeah. So, I'm glad to be streaming here too. I finally upgraded my internet, so I can do it. Yeah, fancy. What have you been up to, Maddie? What time is it there for you? It's gotta be getting on pretty late, right? Because you start bright and early in my morning, like 5 a.m. or something like that. Something crazy. Thanks, Maddie. Oh, that's right. You too, Zelrig. What time is it? Finger Lakes Community College. Oh, cool. Yeah, I think that's the best. To learn from people who are actually doing it. That's the way. 11:15. I'd be in bed, but I have kids, so it's a different story for me. Oh, sorry to hear that. What team do you root for? I ask like I care about football. Maybe I pretend to care about football more than I care about football. But I love when people are passionate about stuff, so I want to hear what team you root for. So that next time I see them, I can go, oh, yeah, Maddie loves them. All right. It's hard to paint and talk, Maddie. I don't know how you do it, if you're still around. I mean, I suppose I'm learning. Alright. Ajax. Oh, cool. Are you blaming it on the boyfriend? It's his fault? Ooh, there's some nice, like, reds on the top of this. Oh, okay. You know, I guess that makes sense, Eileen, that does make sense of the downfall. I mean, it would be good if there was like a bunch of artists who could teach you their ways. But from the sounds of it, that maybe that wasn't the case. I remember when I first started painting, I was always looking for like the way to paint. Like, what is the way? What's the right way to do it? How do you get it done? But I ended up going to Portrait Society of America conference. So doing a bunch of portraits back in the day. And the biggest thing I took away from that was like, everyone does it so differently. So amazingly differently. And my search for the way was just thoroughly misguided. Because it did not exist at all. A little more swooshing. Yeah, okay, the soft blending. So, the way that I did that was, I suppose you could go back and have a look how I started. But I got a big wet brush, and I'll get used to. I have one for talking. There we are. I got a big wet brush and wet the paper all over, and then like the other side as well, and just soaked it, and then came in and painted on. So it just gives me this time period where things can like blend loosely and work together. And I wish there was a way to kind of like recreate that again, and I suppose there probably is. Oh, see it, Eileen? Oh yeah, I don't want cats chewing on walls. But yeah, like you can see like right at the top, the whole thing was just like soaking wet, everything bleeding everywhere, and then like do all the big shapes at that point. And anything, like I didn't start this tree until most of it was dry, so that it had crisp edges and everything. But all of these bushes down here, I'll come back on top and like give them detail and definition and stuff, but blending it all in at that point is delicious. Yeah, so you probably even see in the VOD that I wet the front of the paper, and then I wet the back of the paper, and then I wet the front of the paper, and then I pick the paper up. I just wet the ground, because it like, at some point I want the top of the paper to dry, but if I can wet the stuff underneath, then the water seeps through, but it still gives you kind of a crisp edge at the top. It just gives more time to like. Aw, thank you, Zorig. It is some strong paper. It's, what is it? It was from a sketchbook. The Etcher sketchbooks. That's where I got them. It is, I think, a 120-pound hot press. But the thing is that if you wet the front and the back, then it doesn't buckle. Like if you wet it decently enough, it doesn't buckle. And that's key. Well, I mean, it can buckle because it'll unbuckle again afterwards, but fun. I really want to find ways to like do that better when I'm on the road, but I don't know. Man, I'm getting so American. I don't know. I live in the South. Man, these accents. Oh, you're talking about Sergeant stuff. I was talking before about a water, learning to paint water tutorial that I was doing, and early on for it. Sorry, yeah, that's all right. Early on for it, I started to do this. This is like Super Sergeant right here, using the cobalt shadows in the water. I like had a soft spot for that from the beginning. But yeah, is my computer is my stream lagging? Is it lagging? I kind of see things getting a bit stiff every now and then. Oh, thank you. Yeah, we might have to find some water in one of the other streams, in one of the other Japan streams. And on this island, there's some amazing water places. The hard part is trying to find it on. Yeah, I don't know why it was buffering, but it's back in action. Oh, good. I'm glad. You know what I really want to do with this painting? I might do some of this stuff first to see if it's necessary. I kind of want to put like a little extra tree down here that like even emphasizes this kind of curve thing that it's doing even more. But I'm gonna wait for that. Here we go. There's that tree. beginning I was... Oh, sorry, you can't even see that. It's that tree at the beginning I was modeling these bushes off. So, yeah, I really need a... Oh, here we go. Really need a camera shot that gets the reference a bit better. Alright, so at the moment, let's come in and do this stuff here. These like dry bushes. I'm going to dry brush it. So let's see. A purple bong in the background? No. What's... Where? What are you talking about? Where? I don't know quite. You have to let me know. I promise. Okay. There we go. I just wanted to desaturate this yellow a little. I don't have quite enough paint there. Middle of the shelf. Oh, maybe it was another camera. Nope, there's only one of that camera. You know, I just don't know. I have a mandolin. But it's not purple. Oh well. Here, we need to get more paint. More paint for this dry brushing. Let's see, I want to make sure that it's warmer than the rest. I promise. I'm not lying, sir. Okay. Okay, that was kind of nice. That worked well. I don't even think there's glass anywhere. I honestly don't know. Quite. Oh, maybe. I've got some Sansador. Is that what you're talking about? Isn't it dry brushing? Man, I love anytime I can like switch up the textures. Here's Maddie rescuing me from conversations about bongs I don't own. Anytime you can like... Oh, you know, I think I even have a... Oh. Oh. Here we go. Super close. I'm not sure it's in focus. The Sansador is for... It's like an odorless mineral spirit for oil painting. I have an oil painting I'm working on a commission. I'm gonna need some of that. Maddie the hero, that's right. Maddie's my hero. Okay, so that was good. Though I do think it's out of focus, so let's get back here. So, I need an honest opinion of my setup. What, as viewers, what do you guys think would be beneficial? Views of certain things? Maybe directing my camera away from bongs that don't exist. What would be beneficial? You have me full screen on your TV. Oh, that's a little intimidating. But thank you. No, I'm glad that it's working out better. I've never quite had it work out so well before. Mills, I didn't see you. I'm glad to have you visit. I'm glad that you're here. So one thing that I have been thinking about lately, been thinking about this. When I'm painting, is that things like this, they're just like so ambiguous. If I can nail down the way that it touches the ground, the way that it interacts with the ground, the shadows that are down there, then a lot of the other stuff, like if I can get the silhouette right, if I can nail down right there where it touches the ground, then it feels, for lack of a better word, grounded. And if I can make it feel grounded, then we're on it. We're on it. Ooh, that wasn't what I wanted. Oh well. Let's see. Oh, you know, it would work really well. Okay, so I had been ignoring previously. Oh, I had been ignoring these trees that come up back here because I didn't think they added very much. But, boom. Actually, I can use the difference in value to help define a lot of this top here without really touching the top too much. So let's do that. I'm gonna push them back. They're gonna be less. They're gonna be blue. Like they're gonna have that atmosphere to them. A little more. Let's see. Does this mean regular streams? You bet it does. You bet it does. I've been trying to find ways to like just actually connect with my audience a lot more. Because I'm getting to the point where apparently finding new audience isn't, like on Instagram and stuff, isn't a problem. But finding new audience that's like meaningful, like, you know, like talking to you guys is meaningful. And Instagram just doesn't, or Twitter, they don't really have that. That same feeling. How many Anakin did you guys have? Not enough. Oh, there's some really nice trees back there. Isn't it funny? Like how I remember I used to spend time trying to find inspiration and find things that were like really took my interest. But I think it's just funny that you can basically be wherever you want, looking at whatever you want, and you can find it. It's like these trees have been here all along, and now I'm like, ooh, trees. Thanks, Eileen. Yeah, I love those clouds. Clouds are difficult. They're hard. Like, I did a whole tutorial on clouds. And there's no way to cover everything that can happen. Which is a good thing. Which is a good thing, right? Because if there's no definite right for how a cloud can be done, then Secret Soul says there's no definite wrong for a cloud. Well, I mean, there's a couple of things you could destroy clouds with, but all right. But it's kind of, there's this freedom to it. I'm going to dig into these shrubs just a little bit. Got to give them that the broken color look, feel. I love Broken Color. The Impressionists, man. Again, when I first started out, I was looking at everything all the time, and I still am. But actually, it was before I started painting. I really fell in love with the Impressionists. There's so much amazing stuff they did. And then there's people who call themselves Impressionists who are not really Impressionists. And there's this like generic use of the term Impressionism, which really just means I can't paint, so I just do whatever. But the Impressionists themselves, they are killer. Okay, I don't want to get too lost into these, because you know I could be here for years painting them. All right. Yeah, their colors were rough sometimes. They were really... There's a lot of experimenting going on. And probably a lot of drugs as well. And they weren't all necessarily a part of the same movement. So they're all like doing different things. And then people later were like, oh, those were the Impressionists. They didn't... And then you have the Impressionists who became Expressionists. And they did weird stuff. But so good. My wife hates the Impressionists. She's like, it's all just like women laying around doing nothing. And then flat color, well, not flat colors, very pale colors. I'm like, well, some of them did those pale colors really well. I promise. I promise. Don't hate them too much. But that's taste, right? Alright, what to do? Okay, now we're dry here. Oh, dry enough. Maybe I'll come in and do some of these edges. So, Mills and Maddie, before we were talking about some of our favorite artists, I'd love to hear some of the artists that you guys at least, grew up with. I wonder if the colors were always off. I'm sure some were taking liberties with the subject. And just didn't age well. There's a thing with colors and like everything in art, you can't really like do everything that's in front of you. You've got to make a choice about how it is that how are you going to interpret things, how are you going to communicate things. And yeah, if you're not always gonna be right. You didn't grow up with any artists? I mean, like, not grow up with them. Did you come to art late in the game? I get that. Yeah. I totally get that. My wife didn't grow up with music, which is kind of sad. But I get how it happens. But it means nothing for who you are now, right? Nothing. Anime and manga. What's your favorite anime? I have some favorite animes, but I want to hear yours first, and then I'll let you know. Well, the thing is, here's the thing. Here's the thing about art. Art is communication. You don't have to be good at it to get it, or to appreciate it, or to love it, or to not love it. Like, It's just communication, just like writing. Like any kind of art that people don't get, just most of the time means that either the art was made in such a secluded cultural context that it was never meant for you in the first place, or they're trying to communicate something and they're failing miserably. But it's about communication, so it's not really, I don't know, in many ways it's not about you, but it is about you because it's about how the other person's supposed to be communicating to you. May have been opening a can of worms right here. Your introduction to art was Bob Ross. Awesome. There's such respect for Bob Ross in every community. What's that? It is I have lost the edges where there are none, and I have values that are off. But does it work? Yeah, does it work? Does it work? Does it communicate? It's all communication. You're right. Which is why you have people who are terrible technical artists who have amazing followings and are professional artists, is because it doesn't matter that they're not good. If they're communicating really well, then like that's all you need. And then you have people who are really amazing and they're not communicating anything. They're not, and then they just think that getting better technically at art will get them a job. I've been in that boat before. Hopefully, not so much now. But it's a hard place to be. I used to always think, if I just get better, I'll get a job. If I just get better, blah, 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 blah. Nope. Trace portrait and sell on YouTube. Nothing wrong with that. Again, it's like that, what they're communicating. If someone can be entertaining while they do a miserable job. If you're talking about someone in particular, I actually don't know who you're talking about, but it just occurred to me that you could be talking about someone in particular. Sailor Moon, Ruruni. I can't even pronounce half the things that you're... Oh, were they in German? Is that why I can't pronounce them? Ghibli, of course. Of course. Rage of Bahamut. I haven't seen that. I'm gonna have to. Oh man, you know way more than I do about this culture. That is so cool. I'm gonna have to have a look into those. I probably know. You probably roll your eyes at me. The cliche ones. Cowboy Bebop, I loved. Let's see, trying to think while I paint. Evangelion, I also loved. Ghibli, of course. Of course. You've noticed that on the art section of Twitch? Yeah, absolutely. And it would be really easy to like boo-hoo some of those people, but they're doing it. Cowboy, I've heard that they're remaking it. I don't know what that'll be. I'm withholding judgment. We'll see. We'll see. All right, 99 times, Zelrig. It was great to have you here. Come back again. By that I really mean I need to come back again. But yeah, great to see you. I mean, and it's alright. I probably won't be here for too much longer because it's gonna be dinner really soon. The kids are gonna be hungry. But we'll see what we can do about this painting. So I want to cut some shadows into down here. Oh, there we go. Oh, I keep forgetting that this is out of focus. There we go. I'm going to cut some shadows into here. And in fact, there's a thing with these shapes. These shapes are like just too continuous or something. Too much of the same shape the whole time. When will I post a schedule? I know I need to commit to a schedule because I'm super excited about doing all this stuff. Let me chat to my wife and see what's actually possible. But I will. I might even do one of those fancy countdown timers. Let's see. So I kind of want to cut into and make this shape a little more odd. Oh, I'm gonna do something fancy. Here's a trick that sometimes works and sometimes doesn't. So, Steve's. I don't know what Steve's is about. Am I missing somebody? Oh, Raid! Hi, guys. How's it going? We are painting. Oh, Nightbot just destroyed someone. Sorry. Sorry. Oh, Steve's, how you doing? Yeah, we're doing some, yeah, Nightbot is eating people up. Sorry, guys. We're doing some digital plein air. But in the sense that I'm doing traditionally, but I'm traveling around Japan. It's gonna be, oh yes, glorious dragon. I actually know Steve in person. We hung out. Nightbot is so sensitive. Stupid Nightbot. I wonder if Nightbot will ban me for saying that. How was your thing, Steve? Is your when is your Ren Fair again? When's that coming back? Realsies. We met at Orlando the first time. I'm gonna cut in here. Oh, I said I was gonna do something fancy. I can't wait to see a giant Hogwarts painting. Has it got a million dragons in it? Or at least a couple, I'm sure. Alright, so what I'm gonna do here is put some water on. So I want to do, okay, let's have a look at this reference. Boom. Fair end at the end of October. When's it start again? So we've got some spaces like this that have like, there's a gradient that comes into them and there's a defined edge. So I'm going to put water down here and then paint into here and then hope the water seeps out. And cross my fingers and hope for the best. An owl. What? There's oh, there's an owl. Okay. I'm excited. Boom. So, water. Here's where we're going to do it. Water down here. Hope we don't destroy too much. Then our defined edges just above it. And that did not have the effect that I thought it would. Dang. Such is the gouache life. So I'm gonna see if I can draw that gradient out. There we go. How is Japan? I wish I was actually there. I'm not actually there. It's lovely. We're in Yakushima Island at the moment. Boom, look at this place. It is amazing. There is so much really cool stuff here. So I'm going to be here for a long time. I am pretending to travel north. So starting in Yakushima, we're just going up. Super excited about it. Let's have a look. So moody. It is. It's like, all I need is a tea and a blanket and a good book. That's all. That's all. That's it. If that's all we have, then I'm happy. Man, I could tell you, streaming slows down the painting process. But it does make it more fun. Alright, I think I probably need to... Am I doing my... I wish. No, I'm not doing many conventions this year. They did not end out well for me. I think, like, I ended up losing a bit of money, which is really sad. I really wish that they worked out well for me, but I tried. I followed a lot of advice. Your productivity goes up when you're streaming. I think you're right. I think the push to actually produce and just to get down and not try and figure out the perfect thing, I think that balances. I think you're probably right. I know. I don't know why it didn't. Why cons never quite worked out for me. I'll probably try again. Not 2020, but 2021. Hopefully I have some more capital and a little more direction with how to do it all, but we'll see. We'll see. Alright, so I think the last things I want to do before I go and eat. The fact that I'm streaming, I'm not checking my phone. Yeah, it does force that, doesn't it? Is probably just put a little texture down here. I want to push this edge here, because I think that'll be beneficial. YouTube rabbit holes are the best, though. I promise, they're amazing. They just eat my life, though. There's a bit of a hot edge, and then some textures. Thanks for sharing iconic experiences. I wish I could share it more positively for you, but Steve can. Steve does really well. I would be jealous if I wasn't so excited for Steve. How was a lexicon for you? Surely, did that go pretty? I mean, you had an original, right? Because I didn't make money at a lexicon, though I met some awesome people, but that's sometimes not quite enough. I am killing it on Instagram. It's the only thing I know how to do. And I'm happy. Yeah, that's the story I hear from most people. Alright, I'm going to dry brush this texture in. This ground texture. Let's zoom on in. Boom. So it's going to be It's just stuff modeled everywhere. Though in some way I don't want to overpower the rest of the painting because there's so little texture everywhere else. So maybe I'll, as the rock curves away, I'll give it more texture so it kind of like leads you in that direction. Super dry. Oh, this is too dry. It's not even coming up. Oh, except for that time I did it and let's see, what's that question? Man, if I could paint something, post on Instagram, and immediately sell it. I know. Sometimes that actually happens. And it's nice. Sometimes not so much. Do you make temporary Instagram stories that you were streaming on Twitch when you go live? I will. This is kind of like the first time I've done my new setup, so I wanted to actually get it done before inviting a million people to fail with me again. But yes, I will definitely be doing that. Instagram and Twitter. Are you on Instagram, Mills? I'm pretty sure you are. I'm pretty sure we've chatted over there before. Maybe. Yeah. You've never sold anything on Instagram? Yeah. There's that's the problem with art, is nothing works the same way for any two people. My pieces tend to be relatively small, like this, you know, like small and affordable. So, and I think that works, at least for my market, because my market is relatively young. With our powers combined. Okay, let's do it. We'll take over the world. I'm down with that. Okay. I keep saying before I leave, but before I leave, I want to maybe get like a couple of these light highlight sticks on in there. Oh man, if I could do that. We'll see. We're only chat on here on Twitch. Okay, cool. We'll have to make amends. We'll have to fix that. Okay, I don't want to be pure white, so I'm getting a little. I just realized. You couldn't see that. All right, just gotta get on. Got to get some of that moisture out. I'm not sure it's going to make a huge amount of difference, but like a little bit of definition I think will help a little bit. Any tips on painting rocks? Not straight from the top of my head. I'm sure if I sat down and thought about it, I could organize some good thoughts for you. So, be back again another day, and I'll let you know when we do something really rock heavy and we can hit it. I am doing like a bunch of tutorials. I'm also making a decent amount of money that way. So, I have like, you know, clouds and foliage, and I'm just about to do water, so I've got this whole like landscape thing going. So eventually we'll hit rocks with that as well. Oh, see you, Steve. Good to see you. Thanks for coming and rating. Oh no, it's good. You're in rock studies this week. Oh, that sounds fun. If you ever want to do combined Twitch, I don't know if that actually works. let me know. We could study some rocks together. We could figure out something. That would be really early in my morning, but that's okay. What are our favorite brushes? I like, generally, like if I go out with one brush, it'll be this. Oh, this guy. It's a calligraphy brush. And so the minute that I get it wet, it comes to really fine points. I can do lots of small detail, and then I can use the whole bulk of the rest of it to do like big strokes and then little strokes and everything. So yeah, I figured there'd be a lot of setup involved. It's okay, it was just a suggestion. One day we'll do it and it'll be awesome. Yeah, so if I just have one brush, I'll use that brush. Otherwise, I don't really care. I use flat brushes for getting big, flat shapes. I like round brushes because they have a distinct point, so I kind of can rely on that point, and that's nice. But yeah, I know Maddie likes the flat brush. I know I've wasted a good deal of time trying to figure out exactly what brush I need to use, and then I just swap it out according to whatever I need, or just stick with a single brush for like weeks on end. Definitely though, if I'm doing gradients, I've got a big flat brush. Alrighty guys, I think I'm gonna call it a day. I could be here forever, but thank you guys so much for joining me. Now I don't really know how this rating thing goes. Let's have a look. We're gonna raid, but I just need to figure out how. How on earth do we raid? Let me get Twitch up. Thank you, Eileen. I am excited because this was a ton of fun. Let's raid Beth. Beth be rad. Let's see. I presume it's in my dashboard. Hold with me. Raid channel. Mighty May. Hi. Goodbye. Come and join me. Okay. Let's do it.